Alright, let's go ahead and go on to the next chapter then. The Fate of Destiny. The people of Kilinos, still recovering from the ravages of Sarpedon's plague, are in much need of reason to celebrate, as they prepare the palace yard for Kiana and Norala's wedding. You can see the joy in their hearts and the hope that drives them. For your part, as the man responsible for rescuing our city from Sarpedon's plague, I cannot help but feel proud. I only hope that this joyous occasion will heal the wounded hearts of the people. I find weddings to be silly affairs and think it odd that so many of our citizens caught up in this one. I cannot help but envy Kiana that she will be queen. I can only hope that the weavers have nothing more in store for the people of Kalinos. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be able to help but feel proud. The evening before the ceremony, there is a grand feast. During this, General Kiana and Princess Nerula are visited by the king's advisor, Aphaxtes, who flows betwixt the tables wearing robes as ornate layered as a cypress tree's leaves. In the years following their marriage ceremony, he explains, the nobles of the court will begin petitioning to provide Kiana and Nerula with an heir from within the noble families. Although Kiana and Nerula will not officially choose their heir for many years, their wedding day will mark the beginning of the nobles' appeals. To those who truly serve the gods, Aphaxtes offers, succession by fate is no different from succession by bloodline. In either case, the outcome has been crafted by the will of the weavers. General Kiana nods her agreement with the advisor's assessment. For your part, I would happily comply to the weaver's divine plan. I am excited to see Kiana and Nerula welcome a child to their family, even one not their own. I regret that Kiana and Nerula must raise an heir, but such are the trappings of their stations. I would be perturbed by the thought of a child from some noble family growing up to steal my power. My power? What? I'm disgusted by the thought of sycophants preferring their own children for review. I think I would go with this one. On the morning of the ceremony, Kiana stands beneath the icon in her mother's temple. A priest murmurs, circling the bride with a bowl of fragrant coals, while attendants sprinkle her with hyssop. That done, you and 2 other soldiers repair to Kiana's own chambers, where you fit her with the ceremonial armor that she will wear during the rite of matrimony. You can see the fear in her heart, like that of a soldier on the cusp of battle. She regards herself in the mirror, grimacing. This is a mistake, she decides. What can you mean? You ask. Even the king himself has blessed your union. Kiana shakes her head dismissively. I fear I am too much of a brute to be wed to one so refined as Nerala. You know just what to say. What is this? Does the daughter of Sephiel fear the prospect of marriage? Do not make me laugh. There is more honor in you than anyone I have known. Nerala will be pleased to have you as her own. The importance of gentility is overstated. The regal Nerala will learn much from a warrior like yourself. You will not be alone, Kiana. Share your thoughts with Nerala. She is sure to listen to you and love you all the same. Do not fear the throne. When you are queen, let Nerala make all the decisions. I'll go with this one. I suppose you are right, Kiana says. She smiles and nods. Yes, I am sorry. Worry not, you say. You squeeze her shoulder firmly and continue fitting her for the event. As you do so, you think about what your friendship with Kiana has come to mean to you. I feel closer to the gods for knowing one of their own daughters. I am close to her as I was to my own brother. I have found myself helplessly falling in love with her. I think I'm going to go with this one. Alas, you are sure that Kiana does not share the same feelings for you, and today you will lose her to Nerala forever. 1 hour later, you and the soldiers wait with the rest of the crowd for the wedding to begin. Kiana stands at the end of her path. Across the way stands Nerala at the end of hers. Nerala wears a stark white chiton embroidered with silver thread, a marvel of poise. She knows little of fear in her eyes, and much of anticipation. The sound of plaintive horns summons the two lovers to the altar. Slowly they march down their paths, converging on the priest step by step, when suddenly the officiant seems to notice something alarming behind the crowd. The guests begin to turn away from the ceremony to follow his gaze. You turn with them, only to find that you are in the presence of the gods of Arcadus. Atesia is among them, as is Sonus, but it is Sephile herself, the goddess of wisdom, who steps forward to speak. Champion. Greetings, Sephile. I am again called to the service of the gods. Greetings from your city, Sephile. Have you come to bestow a blessing upon our wedding? What business have you here? My destiny is fulfilled. Our dealings are ended. Greetings. Alas, yes, champion. We have come here because of a final threat to destiny and all of Agosa. And how can I be of service? What is the matter? Why should I help you? How can I be of service? Digoras is in the underworld now. Now that your fate has been fulfilled as prophesied. Prophesied? Fuck. He must end destiny another way. He plans to kill the weavers with his own hand. You must go there if we are to stop them. Then I must leave. You must leave now, indeed. It may already be too late. If Digoras has already breached the chamber of the weavers, he will be within reach of destiny's very strands. He could end your life, or that of anyone you hold close, simply by cutting one. You feel Meredith's hand on your shoulder. You look into his eyes and say, I vow this nightmare will end today. Again the gods are stealing me away from my path. What I must do now, I will do for all of us. Let's do that. Kalos takes your hand and carries you with him to the sky. Fire trails you across the cloud. The underworld opens into Agosa in only one place, through a tunnel dark as blindness itself. On a wide cracked plain, the messenger leaves you just off beside. Marina, the goddess of death, is already here. Her cloak billows like a willow's shade. Champion, she whispers, you have come. She points to the pit, and a dark chariot with no horse rises into the air from the blackness to hover beside you. This will take you to the chamber of the weavers, at the center of the underworld. Even I cannot follow you there, for the presence of mortal death is a poison to the gods. How will I defeat the god of chaos? How will I make my way? Have you only chosen this mission because you fear your own kingdom? How will I defeat him? Take heart, champion. The journey across the underworld will have weakened him. By the time Digoras reaches the chamber of the weavers, he will have long since been made mortal. Mortal? You ask, fairly bewildered by the news. You mean to say that I could kill Digoras? A terrible smile spreads across Marina's face. Do so, champion, and you shall be richly rewarded. Marina reaches out her hand, and a dark cloud appears above it, like one of Sarpedon's storms. Within the nothingness you see your father's face. It has been so long since you have seen him that it is as though you are peering into a memory. But as you look longer, you notice that his features are drawn and hollow. This is his soul as it appears in Marina's kingdom. Kill Digoras, and we will release your father from the underworld. He can return to the life he led before Digoras meddled with your destiny. All can be as it was. Your generosity is overwhelming. The gods told me it was impossible. Yeah, what the fuck? The future of Agosa has been changed. Returning your father to life would only wound destiny anew. A reckless thing to do while my brother still lives. But if he is vanquished, the goddess of death points to the chariot. The gods cannot intervene while you are in the chamber of the weavers, for our sight cannot intrude there. You must fight bravely, champion. Go now. Digoras is at the threshold as we speak. The chariot plunges into the darkness. You are soaring across the cavernous underworld, a glowing blue desert littered with weary souls, who stagger together across the sand in great crowds. Some of them are as terrible as the living, others are faint and ghost-like, fading from being. The lost are herded by great bronze men, statues that move of their own accord in halting steps. You know, this underworld actually kind of seems like the Dwarven world. Blackreach, I think it was. Seeing them walk reminds you of that strange word Digoras used, machine. The drifting souls mutter themselves without a pause for breath, such that there is a hum beneath you like the rumble of an earthquake. I dread that I will one day come to be imprisoned in this place. I remember myself that the souls I see here are merely echoes of the people they were in life. I will have my vengeance on Digoras for consigning my father to this fate. At last your chariot comes to the chamber of the weavers, a tall gray cylinder of stone at the center of the desert. The peculiar conveyance sets you down, and you enter. The ceiling of the chamber is 3 times as high as that of the oracle's temple, and is built up around a wide pit. The million glistening strands of destiny descend from far above, forming a translucent curtain around its mouth. The weavers sit beneath these strands on the edge of the pit, their faces still as masks. Their bodies are made of bronze, like Marina's walking statues, and they look as heavy and still as boulders. Yet their lithe arms move quickly, drawing the filaments of destiny down and folding them together, before feeding them into the light at the bottom of the pit. You regard this delicate process with surprise. It seems that destiny is more fragile than you thought. You must use all your skill to protect it. You see Digoras now. His morality is plain. His beard and his horns look brittle. His skin is smudged and drawn, like a beggar man's. But his spirit is robust. Benjamin of Onicia, he calls. Again my siblings have drawn you into their vendetta, but your servitude will end soon enough. With these words, Digoras severs one of the glistening filaments with a curved dagger. A flash of dark energy passes into his body, and he recoils. When the pain has passed, he looks up, hoping to find that you are dead. His face withers further when he sees that you yet live. Do not fear, champion. Your strand will be discovered in time. And how many innocents will fall first? Why do you seek to destroy me if your true enemies are the weavers? Do you truly believe that you can end destiny this way? I will come to the weavers in time, but I cannot destroy destiny until I have destroyed you. Strangely, it sounds as though he is apologizing for this. Why must I die if the greatness of my destiny is already fulfilled? Because you are the champion. If you still live after I have destroyed the weave, the gods will rally around you like never before. They will lavish new powers upon you, making you a symbol of their glory, and you will become the greatest puppet Agosa has yet known. Digoras cuts another strand. Once more a jolt of dark energy like a flash of shadow passes into his body. He collapses in agony, and then rests himself up off the floor again, panting. A whisper intrudes your thoughts. Champion, hear us. Hear the voice of the weavers. With every strand Digoras cuts, destiny draws closer to collapse. But look down and see where those strands have fallen. You look to the floor of the chamber, where you see a sticky black substance oozing forth from the severed strands, forming puddles that hiss as they expand. This is the ichor of death, the voice whispers. Lead the god of chaos into the ichor, and he will become helpless, for its slightest touch is poison. Attack Digoras with my sword, forcing him back into the ichor of death. Let Digoras go on cutting the strands. He is clearly weakening. I will intervene when he is more drained. Tell Digoras that I too wish to destroy destiny. Attack Digoras with my sword, but back away as he fights, drawing us both into the ichor of death. I don't think I have enough strength for that. I don't want to do that. But I think that might be my only option, other than killing myself. Drawn back. You provoke Digoras with your sword. When he attacks, you simply fend him off, drawing him backward into the hissing ichor. The substance sends freezing pain into your body as you pass through it, but its effect on Digoras is even more dramatic. A shadow seems to pass over his very flesh, and he collapses into the ooze as you leap out of it again. He tries to escape, slipping desperately until he finally musters the strength to drag himself out. He is moving like a very old man now, walking with a shudder in his step. Kill Digoras. Injure Digoras as a warning, but then release him, or let Digoras go. I don't have a choice. Why can't I injure him? Is there a reason why I can't? Well, I guess this is going to be the third person I've killed. Kill Digoras. Destiny saved. Digoras destroyed. You pierce the god's heart with your sword. His face takes on a look of bewildered surprise. It must be quite an experience for a god to die. From far above you, where the strands of fate descend, there is a great hissing sound, and the squeal of metal on metal. You look up to see a great spider lowering itself into the chamber, its body easily the size of Etesia's entire temple. Like Marina's guardians, the weavers themselves, it is made of metal, though its shell is silver, not bronze. Its voice echoes in your mind. We owe you our thanks, champion. You have destroyed Digoras and saved destiny for Olagosa. All thanks is owed to the weavers for guiding my hand. Your enemies are my enemies. This god is my sacrifice to you. Am I to be rewarded for my service? We'll sacrifice him. And we are fulfilled by having guided you along this path. But tell me, champion, do you yet have questions about your fate? If so, ask them now, and I will answer them, for I am the master weaver. How could I be destined to vanquish the remnants of the first age if they were never part of destiny to begin with? How can weavers dwell in the underworld in this place, if this place is poisonous to the gods? Why was I created with the capacity for betrayal? I know all that I need to know. This is the price of your own power. We have learned after many centuries that the more control your kind is given over their outer world, the more capable your inner world become of corruption. We bestowed your destiny upon you, knowing that it would also create the potential for great evil, but not only the potential. How could I be destined to vanquish the remnants of the first age if they were never part to begin with? Thank you for telling me what I need to know. How can the weavers dwell in the underworld? Cease this endless talk. I have heard enough from the gods' prattle to last 12 lifetimes. How is that? It is true that Siva Sarpedon and even the sacred lyre itself once existed entirely apart from destiny. But over the centuries, as Siva and Sarpedon ended the lives of so many mortals who were destined to live much longer, and as the lyre diverted more and more Minodians from their destined deaths, all three of these remnants fell under our control. They became a part of destiny. How can weavers dwell in the underworld? Place of poison is the god. Obviously, they're made of metal. We are gods and ancient and machines at once. The poison of death cannot hurt that which does not truly live. Thank you for telling me what I needed to know. Survive the underworld. You board Marina's chariot across her desolate kingdom. When you emerge into the daylight once more, you see the gods waiting for you on the edge of the crevasse. A clear rain falls from the cloudless sky above, and the chariot carries you through it, cleansing the stain of Digoras' death from your form. Only then are you brought closer to the gods, when you step out and stand at their feet. You have done well, champion, whispers Marina. We felt Digoras' death in our very blood, and now your reward. You feel a chill at your back and turn to find your father standing behind you. He is pacing in place, staring blindly about, muttering to himself. Will he always be in this state, you ask? Outside of my kingdom, a mortal's touch will revive him in an instant. I offer my gratitude to the gods for the generosity. With this act, let all debts between us now be paid. Send him back to the underworld. I refuse to take favors from the gods. That would be a dick move. I offer my gratitude. Resurrected from the dead. Or resurrect from the dead. Resurrect the dead. As we are grateful to you for your service, Marina whispers. You reach out your hand and touch your father. In an instant, the world around both of you seems to brighten to a blinding glow. When the light fades, the life has returned to your father's flesh. Do you remember where you have been, you ask? Where you have come from? He nods slowly. But how am I returned? By the power of the mighty gods, you reply. Kalos carries you both to your home village, setting you down at the gates. There he stands vigil, awaiting your command. Your father looks around cautiously, looking into his heart. Looking into his heart, you see that his time in Marina's kingdom has left his soul in its shadow. Your brother runs from the village, his apprentice's cloak flapping behind him. He embraces the man, weeping. Father, when I saw you from over the wall, I doubted my own eyes. Your father remains strangely unmoved by Pericles' greeting. But how did I come to be in that darkness? He asks you desperately, his voice bearing a weariness beyond his years. How did I come to die, Benjamin? I must know. It was the work of a cruel god, father, you explain, and it is by the power of kinder ones that you are returned. You make your way through a crowd of gawking villagers to the temple of Sonus, high on the hilltop. Your mother watches the three of you approach from the threshold, her face frozen in amazement, her palm pressed to her heart. But her expression darkens when you grow close enough for her to see your father's eyes. Husband, she says through tears, you are so changed. She bids your father rest in the temple, where she brings him herbs and water. As he sips, she sends her prayers to Sonus. Whether from devotion of her gentle words you think you can see your father's emerging from the darkness that has clouded his mind. I am overjoyed to see them reunited. I am ashamed of my father's weakness. I am grateful indeed for her arts. I only wish my father's return had not so burdened his heart. Overjoyed! But you must go. While she continues this work, your brother takes you to meet the council and explain the strange events of your return. Many villagers crowd into the chambers to hear you speak. You regale the people with the story of how I used my gifts to defeat my enemies and united all Agosa single-handedly. You weave the sad tale of how the weavers wrested me from the village to perform endless feats at their behest, reveal that I could never have saved Agosa without the help of people like them. Shit, I clicked the wrong one. Oh well, whatever. The villagers are unconvinced by your claims of a solo victory, but they listen politely nonetheless. As your tale draws to a close, you notice a familiar face in the crowd. It is Chara. She sits behind a woman dressed like her in common garb. The affection between them is unmistakable. You catch her eye in the distance, and the couple approaches. My beloved Ostra will think that I am a hero only for knowing you, Chara says, gesturing to the woman who stands beside her. Do not embarrass me, you insist. We are important. Oh, this is me. We are important not because of what we do, but what we mean to each other. Even so, Ostra explains, it is an honor for me to finally meet the man my wife has always spoken of so highly. As she bows, you recognize at once the grand manner of a traitor. You had wondered why you did not recognize Chara's companion. You return the traitor's bow, and it is a pleasure for me to meet the woman who has made my old comrade so happy. So if I'm not with them, they become lesbians. Okay. When you return to the temple, you discover your father waiting beyond its doors. He looks more alive than he did before, though the darkness in his eyes persists. Your mother sleeps within. You should sleep too, father, in time. You should sleep too, father, in time, he says. But there is something I must tell you first. Come closer. You draw near to your father. He places a hand on your shoulder, his grip firm, but you can feel his fingers trembling. What's the matter? Son, I am forgetting what I saw beyond the veil. With every hour that passes, Marina's kingdoms grow dimmer in my view. Is that not for the best? He shakes his head mournfully. There is wisdom in facing what awaits us, Benjamin, and if we lose that wisdom, we take our lives for a dream. I, for one, have seen too much to return to life as I knew it before. You tell him that he must yet learn to forget what he has seen or go mad. We can help each other to remember, so long as we do not live in fear. We must honor life by living, not by dwelling on the darkness. Believe me, father, the sight of Marina's kingdom is not meant for living eyes. If those memories fade from your view, it is because the sorrow of death is too heavy for the mortal soul to bear. Let go of this darkness, and let us be fools together, for all mortals are fools to have lived at all, if in the end they must die. Your father smiles. This is sound advice, he says. The next day your family sees you off the gate, where the ever-vigilant Callus awaits your return. You look at them each before you go, your mother, your brother, and your father. You tell them, I will return. I fear to leave, for I know not when we will see each other again. Think of me, for I know not when I'll be back. Join me in Kalanos some day. You need not spend the rest of your lives in this village. I will return. You must, your mother insists. Only when you are here in Onysia is my heart whole again. And so Kalos carries you over the hills and valleys back to your adopted city. He leaves you in the plaza, which is still decorated for Kiana's wedding, and flies off. Meredith steps out of the shade. He has been waiting for you. You knew I would return? He grins. The gods promised the king in the dreams last night. lest he should presume you met with tragedy. He thought it best to postpone the wedding in honor of its most important guest. This guest of whom you speak has bad news, you smile, and you will be glad to hear it. You tell Meredith of your father's return from Marina's kingdom. The burden of his death was never truly yours to bear. Now it is only a memory. I never dreamed it possible, Meredith explains, lacking further words for his happiness. He embraces you, while his years of shame unburden themselves into tears. You join General Kiana and Princess Nirala in the king's private chamber. There you tell them about the battle in Marina's kingdom. The gods were right to call upon you, he decrees. Agosa is indeed blessed to have you as its protector. Glory is my destiny. We must remain watchful. If the travels have taught me anything, it is that peril surrounds us always. I was only grateful for the opportunity to serve our creators. Victory came easily. I merely thought of how much the city needs me. I have never killed a god before. It was an edifying experience. Glory is my destiny. But what of the wedding, father? Asks the princess. The king smiles. It will proceed tomorrow, he decrees. And now that Agosa is saved, we will celebrate more than only one love. That evening, you find yourself unable to sleep in your chambers, with the moment of General Kiana's wedding to Princess Norala again approaching. You find yourself helplessly thinking more and more of her. You cannot help but feel that the interrupting of the ceremony has created an opportunity for you, a final chance to tell her how you truly feel. And yet you know that she does not feel for you the way that you feel for her. You still remember her words in the training yard so long ago. You will never be more than her sparring partner. Suddenly your eyes are drawn to your chamber door. You do not know how, but you feel that there is someone waiting for you there. You stand and make your way to the threshold, your heart full of hope. You open the door to reveal Kiana herself. Can this be a dream? But you have never had one so lifelike. You feel the night air on your skin. You hear the blood pounding in your ears. Greetings, Benjamin. Kiana, you say. What brings you to my door? The question seems to befuddle the warrior. She grows shy and begins to bite her lip. It is the last thing you notice before you are helplessly clutching each other, pressing your mouths together in desperate oscillation. Some time later, you break apart. But we cannot do this, she declares in an urgent whisper. My wedding to Norula is tomorrow. You are right. It would break the king's heart. You are right. There has been enough turmoil in Kilinos. We must follow our hearts wherever they may lead. You're right. It would break the king's heart. The next day, when Legalis' sun is at its height, the wedding ceremony begins. Kiana stands beside her princess on the dais, and joins her hand to hers. As the priestess Sophia guides them through the vows of devotion, they look deep into each other's eyes. The guests cheer when they kiss, and then the lovers return to the crowd. Norala's face is flooded with joy as she surveys the scene. Kiana seems to look only at you, her longing painfully apparent. You feel a rush of mad anger at the woman who has taken her away from you. No, I don't. But enough of this sorrowfulness contemplation. You look up at the statues of Sophia, perched high on their pillars, and think of the gods. Truly you owe them everything you have, including your very survival. No doubt the destiny they wrought for you will lead to great power in the Kilinos army. Not individual might, but in power over many. The kind of power the gods wield themselves. You must prove yourself worthy of this gift. Champion of the gods. Done. You accumulated 50 points of divine intervention. You're defined by passion and confidence. Sign of the lion? When did I get changed to the sign of the lion? What the hell? Oh, my passion went up. Passion went way the fuck up. And my haughtiness and brutal went up too. My courage went up too, I think. I know my faithful is really high right now. Anyway, so that was my playing through of this. I don't really agree with Kiana deciding that she was going to visit me in the night. I mean, I understand the relationship that was in between them. I wasn't really expecting her to come and kiss me, although that is what I wanted. It wasn't what although it was what I was desired, it wasn't what I needed. And if she would have not done that, then it would have gone through the marriage normally. But yeah, apparently the people, if I'm not with them, they turn into lesbians. And the only way that I can be with Kiana is if I don't do anything else. Because if I show interest in the king's daughter, then obviously I'm not going to have the option of that. Or if I do have the option of that, I would be abandoning Nirala. Maybe I could be with Kiana if, like, one of the other characters I chose, because I could choose to have a military person, too. Oh, well, anyway, I turned into Sign of the Lion for some reason at the very end, but that's just the percentages being carried out. So I was the Sign of the Owl, and, like, my very last decision turned me into the Sign of the Lion, because it gave me a ton of that. So my final victory rating is 145, final certitude rating is 125, and I accumulated 50 points of divine intervention, which means I used god powers twice. You've been playing Champions of the Gods. End. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you likely to recommend this game to a friend? We hope you enjoyed playing this. Very likely. Great. Please post a review of this game on Steam. It really helps. Okay, I will go ahead and do that. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time.